Welcome everyone to our insightful discussion on job interview weaknesses. Today we submerge ourselves into the deep waters of one of the most dreaded interview questions. What are your weaknesses? This inquiry, typically met with a mix of anxiety and confusion, is a vital part of any job interview. It's a test, a curveball designed to assess your self-awareness, honesty, and ability to overcome challenges. What's most surprising is the common surrounding this question. It's not aimed at uncovering your personal flaws or failings. Instead, it focuses on the challenges you face in specific contexts, your approach to overcoming them, and your capacity for growth. This nuanced perspective allows companies to identify potential candidates who are not just efficient, but also adaptable and resilient. So, don't be scared of this question, embrace it, and use it as an opportunity to showcase your problem-solving skills and perseverance. Remember, employers don't want perfect employees. They want real individuals who can grow, adapt, and excel despite their flaws. And don't forget, if you find our content valuable, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more enlightening discussions. Stick around to uncover the secret art of effectively communicating your weaknesses in a job interview. Diving straight into the topic, what do we mean by weaknesses in a job interview? It's a question that often creates confusion. The term weaknesses in a job interview scenario refers to areas where you might find challenging or require development. Contrary to popular belief, it's not a call to unveil your deepest, darkest secrets or inherent personality faults. In fact, it's an acknowledgement of your humanity. Just like all of us, there are aspects of your professional life that need enhancement. It's about identifying those areas and working on them to improve your skills and competency. Let's debunk a prevalent misconception right here. A lot of people equate interview weaknesses to personality traits. You might hear words like, "I'm an extreme perfectionist," or "I'm relentlessly driven to work." However, these aren't necessarily the insights interviewers are seeking. Your weaknesses aren't a reflection of your entire persona. They're specifically about the tasks and situations you may find difficult to handle at work. It's about the challenges you face in a professional context, not a judgment of your character. Why do interviewers ask this question? It's not a setup to trip you or a trap to ensnare you. They ask because they're genuinely trying to gauge if you're self-aware. They're interested in knowing if you're cognizant of the areas where your skills might need a boost, and if you're proactive enough to improve them. This question plays a vital role in helping them assess your suitability for the role, and if your working style aligns with the company culture. It's important to remember that having weaknesses doesn't make you weak. Even the most accomplished professionals have areas they could improve upon. The key is to recognize these areas and actively work on them. Interviewers value candidates who don't run away from self-improvement, but instead embrace it as a vital part of professional growth. So, in essence, when we talk about weaknesses in a job interview, we're talking about areas of potential growth. It's about understanding where you might struggle and being proactive in addressing those areas. It's not about being perfect, but about being perfectly aware of where you can grow and improve. It's about appreciating that your weaknesses are opportunities for growth and development. By asking about your weaknesses, interviewers are trying to get a sense of your self-awareness and your commitment to continuous learning and improvement. Thus, weaknesses in a job interview are not about what you can't do, but about what can do to become better. Now let's move on to how you can identify your weaknesses. Identifying your weaknesses may not be as daunting as you think. This process, although it may sound complex, can be accomplished by following some simple steps. The first step is introspection, which involves looking inward and evaluating your actions and reactions in different scenarios. This is when you need to shut out all distractions and take a deep dive into moments where you've stumbled or faltered. These are not failures, but rather events that provide a wealth of learning experiences, serving as stepping stones towards self-improvement. Next comes feedback, a valuable tool that provides crucial insights into your strengths and weaknesses. This feedback can come from various sources, be it colleagues, superiors, friends, or family. What's important here is to focus on recurring themes within this feedback. For instance, if procrastination is mentioned by multiple individuals, it's likely a weakness that needs addressing. The third step is self-awareness. This one can be difficult, as it calls for you to leave the comfort zone of self-perception and objectively analyze your habits, attitudes, and behaviors. Recognizing your flaws while challenging is a sign of maturity and emotional intelligence. It's about balancing self-criticism with self-compassion. Honesty is another key factor in this process. It's easy to point the finger at external circumstances when things go wrong, yet taking ownership of your shortcomings is vital. Let's say you repeatedly miss deadlines. Instead of blaming it on an overwhelming workload or continual distractions, consider if poor time management be an issue. Once you've identified your weaknesses, it's imperative to delve deeper, to understand why they exist. Is it due to a lack of certain skills or knowledge, or is it a behavioral trait? Uncovering the root cause of your weaknesses allows you to develop effective strategies for improvement. This journey of identifying your weaknesses stirs up discomfort. Why, you may ask? Should we unearth the aspects of ourselves that are easier to ignore? The answer is simple. This process isn't about self-deprecation, but about fostering personal growth and self-awareness. It's about turning the mirror on ourselves, not to judge, but to understand. It's about converting perceived weaknesses into opportunities for self-improvement and success. This journey of introspection, feedback, self-awareness, and honesty is not simply about achieving short-term goals, such as acing a job interview. It's a process that fosters long-term personal growth, encouraging you to become the best version of yourself. With your weaknesses now identified, let's explore how to communicate them effectively. Communicating your weaknesses effectively is an art that can be mastered with practice. To become an expert at anything, you must first dedicate time and effort. In this case, we are going to focus on refining our tactics and delivering our responses during job interviews. Today, we will dissect a sample weakness to illustrate the best strategies for conveying it in an interview context. Visualize that your weakness is procrastination. Hold on, don't let fear overcome you. This is a shared struggle amongst many individuals, placing you in good company. Here's the deal. The objective is not to present this weakness in a manner that disqualifies you for the role. On the contrary, we aim to frame it in a context that displays your awareness and the steps you're taking to address. So, how do we go about it? Begin by directly confronting the weakness. You could state, an area that I'm striving to improve is my tendency to procrastinate. Observe how we've owned the weakness, but simultaneously emphasize that it's a matter we're diligently working on. Proceed by providing a background. Narrate how this weakness has revealed itself in your work life, but ensure to maintain a light tone. You could express, at times I discover myself delaying tasks until the last possible moment. This has sporadically resulted in burning the midnight oil. Now let's move on to the crux of the matter. Transition smoothly into the measures you're implementing to combat this weakness. This would impress upon your potential employer that you're proactive, dedicated to self-betterment, and are not afraid to face your weaknesses. You could articulate, upon recognizing this pattern, I have taken the initiative to incorporate project management tools and to set earlier deadlines for myself, which has proved to be a great help in managing my time more effectively. To conclude, seal your conversation on an optimistic note. Reiterate your dedication towards improvement and express your conviction in your potential to conquer this weakness. You could declare, I am confident that, with the implementation of these strategies, I'll continue to make progress in this area. So, there you go, an exemplary demonstration of how to articulate your weakness in a job interview. Bear in mind that the intention is not to conceal your weaknesses, but rather to display your self-awareness, your potential for growth, and your commitment to personal development. This journey of self-improvement is a continuous process. Therefore, never stop practicing, never cease refining, and start viewing those weaknesses as opportunities for growth. Mastering the art of communicating your weaknesses can make a significant difference in your job interviews. Let's wrap up our discussion on job interview weaknesses. Throughout this session, we submerged ourselves into the intricate depths of understanding job-related weaknesses. These weaknesses are not the traits that mold your personality, but rather, they're the specific areas requiring a strategic approach for improvement. It's important to distinguish between your inherent personality traits and the professional skills that might need some polishing. We ventured on the journey of self-awareness, teaching you how to identify your own professional flaws. Identifying these areas isn't an admission of incompetence, but rather a testament to your self-awareness and growth mindset. This in turn allows you to grow professionally and personally. The highlight of our discussion, the art of communicating these identified weaknesses in a job interview setting. This could be the make or break moment in your job interviews, hence the importance of mastering this skill. It takes courage, admit your weaknesses, and when done gracefully, it leaves a positive impression on your prospective employer. Remember, mastering this skill can make all the difference in your next job interview. With the insights and knowledge we have shared today, you're now geared up to confidently answer the question, what are your weaknesses, during your next interview. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more useful tips.